Yes, भैया इसकी visual and voice is also very loud. Yes.
Gee, thank you. So in the last session, we have been discussing about the harmony, the self with the body, where we discussed about the program of health and how we can maintain the health regarding the intake and our daily routines and things like that for ensuring the harmony of the health with the body. So going forward, now in this session, we'll be discussing about the relationship. And when we discuss about a relationship, we generally discuss about the feelings related to the relationship. And along with that, we will be discussing some of the issues which the students face, like the anger, mistrust, the fear, etc. Isn't it? These are some of the most common issues in relation to the feeling of relationship trust. So let's explore together. It would be nice if you could participate in the discussion what we are having. Maybe you can unmute the mic and raise your hand so that mic could be provided to you. Or even I have provided mics to some of you. Or you can interact in the chat also. Right. Thanks. So in the previous sessions, we had explored for human being, physical facility is necessary, but relationship is also necessary. This is one of the important proposals which we have put forth. What is that as a human being needs for him to be in a human consciousness, a person who is living in human consciousness? So we have understood that three things are necessary. Right understanding is necessary, relationship is necessary, and physical facility is also necessary. And we are seeing to live with fulfillment in relationship, right understanding of relationship is also necessary. Right? Hope you're able to see that right understanding of the relationship and the right understanding with respect to the physical facility, both are needed. And to have a fruitful relationship, right understanding of relationship is also necessary. And before that, we have put forward a proposal that human being is a coexistence of self and body. Isn't it? This is one of the important proposal we have put forth, because mostly we consider ourselves to be body. And why is it so? Because body is something which is very concrete, which you can perceive, which you can see with your sense organs, right? Whereas self is not something which can be seen or heard with our sense organ. We need to experience it in terms of its needs, in terms of its activities, in terms of its responses. But when we see the human being in terms of these activities, we can experience that there is a presence of self also, right? Where the activities of the self are different than the activities of the body. The needs of the self are different from the needs of the body. The response of the self are different from the response of the body. The self as such is a consciousness entity, whereas the body is a material entity. So the two are different, isn't it? The needs of the self, the needs of the consciousness are fulfilled by the activity of the consciousness, which is right understanding and right feeling. Whereas the needs of the body is fulfilled by the needs of the body is, which is a material, it fulfilled by the physiochemical things, which are again materials. And both has to be fulfilled separately. And on the basis, we may be able to see that it is coexistence of self and body. And this is important. The need of the self is continuous happiness, which is fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling. Physical facility is required, but only for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. Which means physical facility as such is not required for the self to be in continuous happiness. It is only required for the body. But since we assume ourselves to be body, where is the effort and the time which we are putting into? If you look at it deeply, we can see that most of the time and effort which we are putting is for the purpose of physical facility, which is only for the nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. Simple. Are we able to see this? Right. So moving forward, having understood that for the fulfillment of the relationship and right understanding, for the fulfillment of relationship, right understanding is necessary. And that the need of the self is continuous happiness, which is fulfilled by right understanding. We now will explore the relationship, that is the understanding of the feelings in relationship in this session. Because when we talk about relationship, it's more about the feelings in the relationship, isn't it? And we need to verify the proposals on the basis of our natural acceptance. So this is also important. Just because it has been stated here, one should not believe it to be true or false, isn't it? We all have the innate faculty of natural acceptance within each one of us. And we need to verify each one of the proposals, what is being put forth here, on the basis of our own natural acceptance. And once we verified and found the proposals to be true, the second step is to experientially validate the proposal by living the proposal. And if it results in mutual happiness and mutual prosperity, we can say that the proposal is true. Otherwise, we can see whether, if at all I have made any mistake in the process of verification and validation, and see whether I would be able to correct it. So the process is self-exploration, right? And we verify it on the basis of natural acceptance. And the point is, we need not assume it to be true or false, right? So the process of self-exploration is also important, isn't it? Now we will move a little bit more detail into the relationship part. As we all know, the family is the basic unit or the building block of human organization, isn't it? We all are part of some or the other family, right? We might have parents. We might have siblings. We might have spouse. We might have children. We might have grandparents. We might have grandchildren, etc. So these are all units as part of the family, the immediate family, isn't it? And it's very easy to see this. We don't have to see it as such, isn't it? It's obvious. And we learn as a kid, as a child, we learn the fundamentals of the relationship within the family. From our mother, we learn the relationship, the baby steps of the relationship, right? As an infant, there is a point in each one of our lives where we are totally dependent upon another human being for all our physical needs. right? For the satisfaction of our hunger, thirst, and the well-being, we need the support of our family members. But then when we grow up, with their guidance, we try to learn many things, starting from the baby steps of walking, movements, right? And the feelings also. When the mother gives the food with unconditional love to the baby feels it, isn't it? The baby feels the love of the mother. Baby feels the care extended by the mother. It interacts with the father, siblings, and starts understanding relationships. Even the small baby will recognize or know, we can see the change. Let's say, if at all there is a change in the feelings of the mother. Ji, Akbari Jahan ji, your hand is raised. You can, the mic is provided to you. You can share. Namaste. Akbari Jahan ji, mic has been provided to you. You can unmute from your side and speak.
Ji, namaste bhaiya. Am I audible?
Namaste. Yes, Didi, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you bhaiya. Yes, in this context, it just clicked my mind that when we talk about relationships, when we talk about friends, normally we say that when we grow up, and now that we are teaching here, we are basically faculty members. So during our casual chats, we say that friends, we met friends when we were in schools, that those innocent times, you didn't calculate too many things, but now you don't have friends, rather you have just colleagues. So I want to know, Bhaiya, what is your take on that? Because I, not sometimes, most of the times I feel that is also true, because there is no clear-cut definition, but we all understand what a true friend is. So that is not going to happen here in such kind of scenario today. The other thing is, you mentioned about the family also. Yeah, sometimes it so happens that we have been brought up, we have been inculcated so many roots, so many this thing, manners, rules, regulations, disciplines, everything. But at times it so happens that when we grow up, when we try to implement the same, our elders have, sometimes a tendency to say that, this is not what we had expected from you. Now that we have become old, you are not doing this, you are not doing that. But if we not retort, but if we reply them back that, you have brought us up this way, you have showed us this path. Now, if we implement this in the true sense, they don't like it, they may not like it. And this is a common scenario in many of the individuals, I suppose. So what is your take on this also? So these are the 2 points I would like to highlight here, Bhaiya.
Namaste, Didi. Yeah. So one point which can be discussed here is that you told that the childhood, during our childhood, we have very fruitful relationship. And now that it is not seen, or rather, maybe it's not possible kind of thing. I would like to ask you to reflect upon, is it anything which is stopping us to have a fruitful friendship or relationship, even beyond the blood relationship? Is there anything which is stopping us other than our lack of understanding about relationship?
Perhaps it may not be lack of understanding, but maybe because when we have reached up to this position, not only others have also encountered, gone through so many experiences that it becomes very difficult for he or she to easily, I think easily may not be the correct word, but to just without thinking anything, just become friends that way, just the way we used to be in our school days. So, yes, you're asking what is stopping me, may not be on my part also, maybe on the part of the other person, because he or she may have come up from a different background wherein, he or she has a tendency to look or, view others in a very suspicious way. Actually, I have come across a few of these, so I can relate a bit. And yes, when you have encountered such people in your life, then you also kind of, it's like an induction effect. So you also have the tendency, okay, fine, he's like that. Then next time I have to be very careful. So you cannot make friends with that. So, yes, may be flaw on my part also. There may be flaw on their part also. But how to handle this? How to deal with this? Because the system today is that you, even among colleagues also, you have a close coterie wherein, only those few who have, like-minded, it just chit chat, gossip, and just while away the time together happily. That's fine. But the thing is, back of the mind, I have, it's like friends with benefits. Unless you gain something from him or her, administration wise, professional wise, personal wise, maybe he or she may help you with your kids classes, etc., etc. So unless you have those kind of things running in your mind, I don't think people are ready to be your friends. I'm not looking on the darker side, Bhaiya, but this is what we have gone through, during the last few years. Certain change is also there, and it's very, very difficult to say that he or she is your friend at this particular age. So yes, please, you can comment, Bhaiya.
Okay. So, few things I can. I'm thinking of bringing your attention is that, so is it that I'm not able to see fruitful relationship even within my family? Because that is one place where you can have, maybe more fruitful interactions. Like, what about my relationship with my parents? So has that relationship also gone into a state where you look at that relationship with suspicion? Or we can think about, I would say we can reflect upon the relationship we have with our children. Did that relationship also have moved to the space of suspicion? Or apart from that, am I able to see at least few relationship, maybe in beyond my friendship or my friend's friend, they are having a good relationship, good friendship relationship beyond the blood relations also. Or maybe I can see few relationship which have been there right from my school days, and even now I'm cherishing that relationship. So even though the volume or the number of such relationship might have been reduced, but are we able to see such relationship happening even now? That is one point which I thought of bringing your attention to. And the next part is that even if, let's say, the other, why this relationship has evolved into many of them not sincere relationship, honest relationship, trustworthy relationship, etc. Is it because of the lack of values which we lack in our educational system? And is it because our priority has moved very strongly to the physical facility, the need of physical facility, and because of the preconditioning that physical facility is equal to happiness? So because of that, if you look at much of our effort and time is being spent for the procurement of the physical facility. And with respect to our relationship with our children also, not only children, with all relationship, we started what you call transacting relationship with physical facility. For example, if I'm not able to find time or able to spend time with my child, I try to give at the end of the day, I try to replace that time with a physical facility like a doll or a toy or something like that. So and why am I doing that? I'm doing that because I lack my understanding in the relationship. I truly lack the relationship understanding about the relationship, and I myself doesn't have the naturally acceptable right feelings within me. And why am I lacking it? Because of the lack of the right education, value-based education, I am also conditioned to think that physical facility is the most important thing. So because of that, over the period of time, over the period of generations, it has become very strong that the relationship, or it is being more, is neglected. And on the other hand, I am seeing that happiness is through physical facility. And of course, the media, the advertisement, and the economy based on what you call the exchange of goods, or the profit based economy, and the marketing and the impact of the social media has also aided that to deeply imprint within me about what you call as the physical facility is equal to happiness concept within me. And with the recent advancement in the technology with relation to mobile phones, internet, and the technical gadgets, it is again reinforcing that, because our economy is also driven by the profit and loss mechanism. So because of this variety of issues, the preconditioning is getting deeply imprinted within each one of us. And the outcome is that we fail to understand relationship, and we have very what do you call it? Our understanding about the relationship has become wrong. And based on that, every next generation is having lesser and lesser understanding in terms of not base of skills. Skills might be growing, but understanding, it is lacking. And based on that, it is moving, it is evolving in a what do you call a downward way. So because of this, we are having this. And what is the solution for that? The solution probably is to trigger this self-exploration for our students as well as within us, so that we are able to ensure the right understanding within each one of us, so that we can share these right feelings to our children, our students, maybe our parents in the family, so that they also are able to see the relationship. So somebody has to start it. And let me start it when I'm getting this understanding. And Didi Akbari Jahan Didi is here, as I understand, as an effort. You are putting this time and effort at this time to have the clarity or the understanding so as to fulfill your relationship in a better way. Not only your family relationship, your relationship with any human being, as a human being, isn't it? So when I'm having this right understanding, my relationship will become slowly more and more fulfilling, both for me as well as for the other. And the time and effort which we put for this UHV in terms of student workshop, in terms of faculty workshop, is an effort for the working of this, the journey for excellence. Am I able to see this? Do you think that this is the right way for right understanding and right relationship? Or do you see some other way, better way?
You couldn't agree more. It's absolutely true, whatever you're saying. We understand that. But the thing is, Bhaiya, each and every individual has to come to this particular point, no right understanding thing. Unless he or she comes to that point, I think it is very difficult to have that uniformity, because there's always going to be a chaos in this society. And I think that is going to happen. It takes time, but nobody has time these days, right? So when we talk about this right understanding, self-reflection, during a casual chat, people, just slip of the tongue or something. Who has time for that? That's what I have heard also. So yes, I think if one tries that, okay, it is just to cleanse myself, purify myself, get rid of all the guilts and all, I think one can do it. It solely depends upon how determined you are, isn't it, Bhaiya?
Gee, actually, so when we take about individual transformation in this level, we can see that it takes a lot of time. But then can we assume that if it is become a part of the mainstream education, that right from the first standard, our to the 10th standard, all the whole education, or we might have like 18 to 23 years to 25 years of our education. So if this has been included into the formal education, in multiple ways we can do it, not just as a separate paper like UHV. So if at all I'm learning what do you call a literature paper, or if I'm learning, even let's assume that if I'm learning mathematics in a problem in mathematics, just a subtraction example. If I'm trying to give an example, like if I'm having 5 mangoes, and if I am able to give 3 mangoes to my neighbor who is not having food, so how many mangoes will be left with me, right? So there is a mathematics part of it, and there is a value part of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
we can create, as a human being, I have infinite potential to bring in all these values is part of the education, but I'm not able to see it. And unfortunately, I'm not doing it. That is the only problem here. So even from the first standard to the whole formal education, we can include value-based education. And along with that, you can see that in 1 or 2 generation, maybe 20 to 30 years, we can see a generation with value education, isn't it? So it is
Yes.
not that far, like maybe 100 years or 50 years for the transformation. The policy makers and the decision makers, if they are bold enough, and we as a collective human community is able to take that bold step, it is not that far away as I see it. This is how I see it, perceive it, Didi.
Yes, yes, agreed, Priya.
Gee. Thank you. That was a nice discussion,
Yes,
Akbar
Priya.
Jahan.
Yes, nice discussion. Thank you, Priya.
Gee. Srinivas Gupta ji, you have raised your hand. Mic has been provided to you also.
Namaste.
Namaste, Vaya.
Namaste.
Yes.
Yeah, in my opinion, the born and brought up environment and the way parents are preparing the child and guiding the child, all these are influence a lot. And nowadays, of course, it is agree with that. Didi saying that it is difficult. That is really true. But in my case, if I take my childhood onwards, I have seen in my father's generation, people still they are there. They are always giving importance for relationship than any other physical aspects, facility or all those. And I have myself brought up in a spiritual environment, and so my mind strongly determined that this relationship is most important than money at any cost. So if I have in any environment, any sort of people, if we look into outside world and compare different people and all these their qualities or attitude or all these, definitely we will in a lot of confusion state. If we make our inner journey, before UHV also, I myself, because of God's gift or I think God's grace, I cultivated myself for such an attitude or a strong determination that, and it is not like that, it is universal fact that the relationship is always very giving lot of inner satisfaction, and sometimes you will feel happiness from inside inner world. So even people, whatever character nature of people outside, if we really able to maintain any sort of people, even he's not ready to other people, not ready to even colleagues or family members or relatives or anybody, even new persons, if we are come across, if we have from our inside and our words and our actions appear really we are showing some relationship, then sometime or other time definitely we will see some change of their attitude towards us, and they are also inclined to make such relationship. That must be their like intention of everybody is like making relationship, but they are unable to come out from that for the moment. But some or the other time, definitely that will be true and universal fact also. What I have experienced myself since long. Even for example, my colleagues, morning if I went to the college every day, so I used to say good morning, even peon to principal. Even though they are their feelings are there, somebody moody, somebody small smiling, somebody even not at all turning their head towards me. But from my core art inside, I am always happy to say that word itself, even their response is irrespective of their response. So like that, I feel happy in the from the day, beginning of the day onwards. And even some situations which are not very much favorable for us, and we have to struggle. Even then, in that struggle also, we can see, we are able to see if we really try the happiness in that. That is my experience, Bhaiya, in Islam, what I feel.
Gee, nice. Nice sharing, Srinivas Guptaji. So it's true that every human being is his natural acceptance is for continuity of happiness, is for the relationship, isn't it? And only because of some preconditioning, that is the only reason why he is not able to see that relationship. And as you rightly pointed out, different people might be having different response depending upon their level of understanding. As you said, when you say good morning, some of them might have a smile, small smile. Some of them might have a very heartening smile and a response of good morning back. And some of them might turn their head away. So that reflects the level of understanding or what is the kind of feeling they are having. And when you are able to do that proactively, that means you are able to ensure that feeling within yourself. And irrespective of you are not longing for the favorable feelings from others. That's why you are able to give it to others in spite of whatever the response is being you are getting from the other. So if I'm able to ensure that naturally acceptable feelings within myself, then obviously I'll share it with others, isn't it?
Yes.
Nice sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm always reminded of Sunil Bhai used to tell about your son being attending the workshop in Hyderabad. And
Yeah.
we would ask questions to Sunil Bhai and Sunil Bhai will take so much of time and effort to answer to his questions. Nice.
I am facing now questions from
Okay, very nice.
Thank you.
Right. Gee, thank you for the reflection. Anybody else would like to interact on the relationship issues? But basically, when we speak about relationship, we can have many questions and many problem scenarios, in issue scenarios also. Like there may be some house in which like in a family, the father and the son might not be speaking for years. And there might be situation where the children might be getting things done from the father through the mother because there is no communication channel between the father and the children. There can be situations where the man is not able to see his relationship with his aged parents. And because of, he will say that because of his commitments not having time, they will send their parents to the old age homes and spend some money to someone else to take care of them. And there can be a situation where the mother, to the worst extent, the mother even is like throwing the child and running with his boyfriend. So those kinds of news also we are able to see in the news. So we really need to understand what is the core of this problem, these issues. And we can see the news sometimes that the boy might have committed suicide because he didn't get the remote control of the TV. Or it could be not getting the mobile phone to play games. And I have seen one day when I went to bank, one mother has come to lock her ATM card, the debit card, because she is not that literate. She has found that her son is using that card for playing games and she's losing money out of it. And the son is playing the game with her mobile phone. So she wanted to block it. So she wanted help from somebody else in the bank. So imagine if I don't have the trust of my son, I have to do, so what kind of environment will be there at home? And we can imagine in what all ways that son can, create disharmony in him, within his family. If that is the case, how much disharmony he may be able to do in the society when he comes out. Isn't it? And that is not a very few number also. That number is very large. Right? And in the society, we can see that less than 1% people, if they are in total disharmony, that itself is a big number and is capable of doing a big damage to the society and the community. Isn't it? So that is the place where we, apart from seeing the problems and wondering if there is a solution to the problems, look deeply at the very core of the problem. Right? And when we look deeply, what we are trying to see is that it boils down into the lack of right understanding in the human being. And that is the place where we need to discuss about the human values to the human being, to point to him that you are a human being and you can live with human consciousness rather than animal consciousness. Isn't it? Right. So going forward, we can see that how do we want to live with them with mutual fulfillment, mutual happiness, or some other way. Right? Yeah. So I was talking, we're discussing that the family relationship, even though we learn the basics of the family within the family, we learn the basics of relationship within the family. Once that child comes into the society, then he is interacting with his friends, classmates, teachers in school, now new batchmates, faculty in college. So he has become a part of the community. And in 4 years' time, when he is in engineering college, or in a 3 years' time, he is in a polytechnic college or a degree college, at the end of that time, he is going to be part or capable of taking up a job, which means he is going to be in a responsible position to other people also. So that the boundaries of his relationship is going to get broader and broader. It's going to broaden. And the impact he is going to make is going to be in a larger perspective. Right? So that means his disharmony within himself and his disharmony within the family, the relationship, is going to make impact on many people in the community. Isn't it? Isn't it? Right? So that is the place where we ask, how do we want to live with them? With mutual fulfillment, mutual happiness, or some other way? The harmony in the family has primarily to do with the fulfillment of a relationship between one human being and the other human being, right? So it could be, even though start from blood relationship, when we say harmony in the family, that family could be extended. So I can consider my institute as a family with my colleagues, my students, my supporting staff, my seniors, mentors, and the community in which I live can be considered as a larger family where I interact with other human beings and feelings are being expressed with the body there. So in order to fulfill relationship, it is very necessary to understand the relationship. So we need to take time and effort to understand what is this relationship. And when we speak about understanding relationship, it is about understanding the feelings and how I can have the naturally acceptable feelings. How can I ensure the naturally acceptable feelings within myself, first part. And then once it is establishing within me, how am I able to share that feeling to others? But what we are doing right now is that we are not able to ensure the right feelings within us. But at the same time, we are seeking these feelings from others. So what will be the output of that? So we will try to find fault with each one of the other with whom I'm interacting with, because he is not able to give that feeling to me. So that would be the point, that would be my perception. And if I have that perception, I will have a complaint for each one of them. It is the problem of that person. It's the problem of this person. It's the problem of my teacher. It's the problem of my colleague. But I'm not looking inside. Whether am I able to ensure that feeling within me? Or can I work for developing the competence to ensure that feeling within myself, so that irrespective of the other have or is sharing with it with me, I can share it, those feelings with the other person. And we need more such people who are having this right understanding in our community and the world, isn't it? I remember, like even Srinivas Gupta ji was also sharing, in olden days, there were like few people who were like having some values, especially the teacher community. And that is the place where the teaching community, the teachers were considered very high in the society because they have a little bit clarity of right understanding in them. And that would be reflected in their behavior, and they would be able to guide others. So let's assume that in a community where there is a carpenter or so, he would ask his son or daughter to go and meet the teacher for taking a decision on how to go ahead with my, let's say, for a higher education or so. And because of he having those values, he, as a teacher, he was earning respect in the society also. And at least maybe in a group of family, there might be, at least in a group of community, in a society, there may be at least 2-3 people, few people who is having that right understanding in them, who will be able to guide the others. But down the line, going forward, that also has been corrupted, and we lacked complete right understanding, and we more and more we started looking for physical facility as a source of happiness, And rather than at least looking inside for some time, our minds, our perception is completely gone outside, as if to get happiness from outside, not understanding that the happiness is my innate nature and that it has to come within. I need to experience the naturally acceptable feelings from within. And because of that, it has been completely moved out. So that's what we have seen. So basically the solution is to understand these feelings in the relationship. We will drive little more detail into the feeling in the next class. So there are 4 aspects of the relationship. I'll just touch it upon, and we will have a discussion on these 4 aspects of relationship in the next week. So the first one says that the relationship is, which means it is already there, whether we recognize it or not. And relationship is between oneself and another self, whereas the body is used as expression. And the second aspect to be understood is that there are feelings in relationship in oneself for the other self. So whenever we speak about relationship, we need to understand the feelings involved in relationship. And the third aspect is that these feelings can be recognized and they are definite. We can definitely say that I'm angry. I have the feeling of angriness within me now. And when I say that, you will be able to understand that feeling, right? And when I'm saying I'm happy, you will be able to understand that what that means. They are definite. And their fulfillment leads to mutual happiness. So when I'm able to ensure right kind of feelings, naturally acceptable feelings within me and the other during our interaction, it will lead to the fulfillment of the relationship and to mutual happiness. So with this closing note, we will end today's session, and we will start from here in the next Wednesday meeting. Thank you so much for the interaction. So namaste to all. Parikshit Bhaiya, over to you.
Thank you, Dipesh Bhaiya. Thank you all the family members for this enriching session. We certainly have more such discussion and interactive session. So we'll meet again next Wednesday, same time. So thank you, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste.